Let's talk about meal prep because if you are a busy working professional, chances are you've tried it and you might have thought, this is pretty darn impossible. You see those like perfectly prepped containers, those beautiful, pristine fridges on Pinterest that these moms are posting. Number one, if your fridge is that stunning, I don't think you have children. And if you do, they are certainly not old enough to get into the refrigerator themselves. And if they are, they're not old enough to be in sports. They're not ravenous growing children, and they don't have friends who come over and also raid your fridge. So it's probably unrealistic. And then they have all these beautiful, labeled, color coded containers in their fridge for every day of the week. It looks amazing, but it's decently unrealistic for the majority of us, right? Real life happens, and that type of meal prep is unrealistic when real life happens. Your shift runs late, the kids have practice, you're just exhausted. And when you try to do something like this perfect meal plan prep, it usually falls apart by Wednesday. Am I right? So if you're left wondering, why does this seem to work for everyone else, but not for me? You're going to want to stay tuned for this episode. Welcome back to the Fit Mom Bod podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Wade, a women's health and fitness coach, corporate wellness consultant, and founder of the Fit Mom Bod programs. I help busy healthcare moms and healthcare teams fuel their bodies, restore energy, and build sustainable health routines that actually fit real life. So all the strategies I'm about to share today can help anyone who's busy. I see this struggle most often with healthcare professionals. Between long shifts, unpredictable schedules, kids' sports, and just pure exhaustion, cooking every meal ahead of time feels overwhelming and quite frankly impossible. So today I'm going to break down why traditional meal prep often fails busy healthcare moms. And more importantly, I'm going to share 4 realistic meal prep strategies that help you fuel your body during those busy weeks, those crazy shifts, and your chaotic family schedules. Most people think meal prep means making every single meal ahead of time for the entire week. But that's the biggest reason why it actually fails. Let's take a new approach to what meal prep means. Starting with tip number 1. Instead of prepping full meals, let's just start by prepping ingredients. And this might be as simple as just having the ingredients available. There are some simple staple pantry and refrigerator items that should always be on hand. For me, in my family, this is like yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, eggs, beef, some sort of veggie on the pantry. Maybe we've got some rice pouches. There's peanut butter, and both got fruits and veggies. Those are those staples. And if you always have those staples on hand, you're going to have way more flexibility in what you can prepare. And when you prep those ingredients ahead of time, if you can prep those things ahead of time, it saves you even more time. So just an example, if you've got chicken, what can you do with that chicken? Whatever the heck you want. There's lots you can do with chicken, and it can depend on what your day is looking like. Is your day busy and you need something quick, like just some tacos or a quick salad? Or do you have a little bit more time to put into it and you make something a little bit more gourmet, like some smothered chicken and roasted veggies and potatoes? Do with it what you will, but he's very flexible. Salads, rice bowls, wraps, quesadillas, right? Tip number 2, and this one is a game changer. If I'm already cooking something, you can bet your britches I'm going to double it. If the crock pot is getting turned on, I'm making extra. I'm not just putting 1 roast in there. I'm putting 2 roasts in there. I'm putting as much roast in there as will fit in there. And I do this so that I have extra because I guarantee it later in the week, I'm either going to be super busy. I'm not going to have as much time to meal prep, or maybe I'm just tired and I don't want to. But when it's already done for you, you're going to be consistent and in eating healthy meals that are going to provide you the nutrition and the energy that you need. Research on behavioral nutrition actually shows that reducing food decisions during the week helps people maintain healthier eating habits. So if you've got extras left over, you can either repeat that same meal or you can utilize it in a little bit different fashion, but you don't really have to think about it because you already know, sweet, I just made a roast. And maybe first day you had it with like roasted potatoes and carrots, mushrooms, like the traditional roast. Maybe the next day you're going to make beef and noodles and some green beans. Maybe the next day you're going to turn it into like more of a taco wrap, or the next day you're going to do shredded beef and barbecue sandwiches. So lots of variation when you start with just prepping one particular protein. So, for example, last week I had a tray of chicken breasts that I had to utilize. So, I put half of them in the crock pot and I did some chicken al pastor seasoning, put that on there, a little bit of chicken stock, put it on low. It cooked away all day. And then the other half I put on a baking sheet. I was doing work, popped it in the oven, a little bit of avocado oil, salt, pepper, let them roast for about an hour on 375. Perfect. So that night I did like tacos, chicken al pastor tacos, and packed and took with me to eat the car while my daughter was at gymnastics. My husband, when he got home, he did his like a chicken burrito bowl. And then the next day, I took some of that chicken, shredded up, and turned it into a wrap with some greens, some Greek yogurt, some avocado, some cheese. It was delicious, nice and filling at work. Didn't take a lot of time to prep. And then that next day when I was off, the chicken that I roasted got turned into chicken quesadillas, which was great. It doesn't take long to make chicken quesadillas. And that was a quick turnaround time. Kids get home and we need to leave for sports. So just having things like that on hand and thinking ahead and giving yourself more flexibility and variability will make it easier for you to stick to those healthy eating habits. All right. So, tip number three, and this is one I feel like busy moms often feel guilty about, but really, this is one of the most practical strategies is giving yourself the freedom and the grace and knowing not everything has to be cooked from scratch. This is not 1926, ladies. This is 2026. Not everything needs to be cooked from scratch. No one is judging you. So some of my biggest go-tos, some of the easiest wins are a simple rotisserie chicken. Your kids have practice or the kids had a doctor's appointment, you're running home. By the time you get home and make a meal, it's 8 o'clock before you eat, and nobody wants a big meal at 8 o'clock before you get ready for bed. So that's where the rotisserie chicken comes in for the win. You pick them up, you take them home. You can just pull them and put them on the side of some pre-made sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes, and some steamed veggies. You can make a quick quesadilla that's done in 5 minutes. You could make a wrap. You can make tacos out of it. If you wanted to get fancier, you could saute some veggies with it, make a nice little bone broth gravy, pour it over some rice. There you go. Some greens on the side. Gorgeous, delicious, and done in minutes. Some of the other things I liked utilizing are pre-prepared proteins. So if you are not familiar with Kevin's brand, pretty clean ingredients, and most of their proteins are cooked via sous vide method. And then when you prepare it at home, you're just putting it in your skillet, popping a lid on, and it's done in 5 to 10 minutes. And then while that heats, you just pop a steamable microwave pouch of rice in the microwave. He's done in 90 seconds. And then just throw some pre-washed greens on the side of the plate, drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, squeeze the lemon juice, salt, pepper, and boom, you are done. So those are some quick, easy meals that we rotate throughout the weeks, especially for those busy sports nights. And then having frozen veggies that you can just roast or steam on the stovetop or even steam in the microwave. Those are quick go-tos as well that allow you to get nutrition on the table and in your belly when you are busy and strapped for time. All right, finally, tip number four. And this is what I call emergency fuel because sometimes the day just gets away from you. You didn't prep, you're running late, you're rushing out the door, you got to get the kids to school, you got to get to work, something unexpected comes up, as always how it goes. And so this is where these emergency fuel items can really save the day. Examples of these items might be boiled eggs, some cottage cheese and berries, some apple and peanut butter, some yogurt, some protein bars, string cheese, veggies and dip. And you almost make like your own cute little bento box. So sometimes when I'm working a long shift and I have to pack all three meals, two of my meals might be legit. And then one of them might be this emergency fuel type bento box where I just grab random items out of my pantry and out of the refrigerator and I just put them together in a box or just throw them in my lunch bag separately. But when I eat them, it's fun. There's different colors and textures and flavors. It makes me happy. It fuels me. It gives me energy to go through that shift, but it didn't take a lot of thought process and it didn't take a lot of time to put it together. And it can really save you from either having to skip a meal, having to order takeout, or just relying on graham crackers and peanut butter from the nursing station. So let's recap those four strategies. Tip number one was prepping ingredients instead of feeling like you have to prep full meals. And this gives you more flexibility. Tip number two, batch prepping on purpose. So you always have leftovers for when life gets busy. Tip number three, using semi-homemade shortcuts so dinner doesn't have to be complicated. And tip number 4, keep grab and go foods available. So when you need that emergency fuel, you've got it, especially on those days where it just doesn't go as planned. So, the biggest takeaway here is that fueling your body does not require perfection. It requires a system that actually works with your schedule. This is exactly why I created the Frontline Fuel Formulary to help healthcare professionals build simple, flexible nutrition systems that support their energy even during those chaotic weeks. Because at the end of the day, you spend your shift taking care of everyone else. You deserve to feel strong and capable just as much physically as you already are professionally. So if you know another healthcare pro that struggles with meal prep, share them this episode, send it their way. Sometimes just a few small shifts, like in how we think about nutrition and how we approach our food, can make the biggest difference in how we feel. Thanks for staying tuned. I'll see you in the next one.